Hello and welcome back to more Lord of the Rings Online. I feel like I need to come up with a better little catchphrase for the beginning. It's always, welcome back to more Lord of the Rings Online. I need something that sticks with you guys, that becomes iconic for the series, even though we're already over 800 episodes in. I'll think on it. We'll see what happens. Anyway, I am here. I don't even know where I am. Somewhere around here. Made it here. Gonna talk to this guy, probably ride back east with the stables to try and clear out some of the quests that I picked up over the last couple of episodes.
What a sorry lot I have drawn.
Fortune scowls on my every venture, Warden. I was given a horse half broken in, and now she has run off on me. Twice I have found her again, only to have her bolt off before I could lead her to the stables. Like as not, she has returned to the hills west of the ford in view of the Entwash. But what use is it going after her again? My Ered has gone without me, and at a brisk pace at that. What hope have I of catching them? None. No hope at all. Okay, so... yeah, that's pushing me further that way. No, I want to go back that way, so... I'm going to take the pony.
How may I help you, friend?
And we're going to go to the Warstead of the Rohirrim. Definitely need to clear all these out. Kind of getting pulled all over the place here on this map. Need to try my best to stay organized. Okay, let's see here. Lots of quest rings, some stuff here to the south. Okay, let me see what I can do. Well, yeah, let me keep going east. Turn in some of these quests and then start tackling some of the other ones. A little bit of lag issue in this region as well. A little bit familiar with Minas Tirith. Okay, so looks like there's a quest ring right to the south of me. Up there on the hills. The textures haven't even finished loading in yet. There we go. Alright, let me pull around this road. You have defeated many of those cursed message bearers then. Good, perhaps we shall make it to the field of battle undetected. My thanks, Warden. J.R.R. smiles widely as you describe all the Rohirrim tracks you covered. I'm glad to have you as a friend and not a foe, Warden. I shall rest easier knowing how much harder a time the enemy will have tracking our trail. Perfect. There are some Mordor spies to the south. I'm assuming climbing up this hill here. Or maybe just out this way. Yeah, let me just check this area. Need to kill 10 of these. Just lurking like a bunch of creeps behind the trees. Excellent. Keep moving. All right, they're more along the road here. I wanted to say something at the first episode of this season. I don't really know where else to put this. I might put it on my Twitter and certainly on my Discord channel, but I don't know when. It may be soon. It may be 5 years from now. I don't know when, but I want to do Battle for Middle-earth for my channel. It's an awesome game. It's a Lord of the Rings styled real-time strategy game. Many of you have probably played it, or at least heard of it. But Battle for Middle-earth is a game that I loved as a kid. It was one of my favorite games when it came out. And I do want to do it eventually. Now, the cool thing about that game is that every unit that you build in that game, you can name that unit. So you can give them names, and, you know, if they survive, you can have them throughout your entire campaign, and the game kind of keeps tracks of how many enemies that unit has killed. It's really fun. So I thought it would be cool if you guys wanted to participate. You could leave it in the comments here that you would be interested in having a unit named after yourself for whenever I do that playthrough. And then I might put it through like a random number generator to figure out who gets named what, and then you can kind of follow your own unit. You might have a unit named after you, and you can see it in every mission and see how many enemies your unit kills. I think that would be fun. So if you're interested in that, leave it in the comments. And at some point in the future, I'm going to do a Battle for Middle-earth playthrough, but I want to have a list of subscribers and people who watch the channel that would like units named after them, so that when I do the game, I already have that list ready to go. And I apologize in advance if your unit ends up dying, or if I have to make a strategic move and sacrifice one of the units for the greater good. Anyway, that's enough of that. Okay, so that's all 10 spies. Yeah, there are 2 campaigns in that game. There's the good campaign, in which the units are a little bit stronger and they last longer, I believe. And the evil campaign, a lot of the units are more like throwaway units. You build more units and just throw more numbers at the enemy. So there will probably be a higher turnover when I do the evil campaign. But yeah, I was just going to use some subscriber YouTube names, but I don't want them to be random subscribers, you know? I want them to be people that are a little bit more involved with the channel, that have been watching the series, that like Lord of the Rings, that kind of stuff. So I didn't just want to get a random list of subscribers. Okay. Gotta wait for the assets to load in here. I don't know what the deal is. It is good to see you among the soldiers, Kippen. My father and I responded to the muster of Theoden King with as many men as we could find. We have 8 Arrowheads between us, a fine number. The elf ward
will prove itself worthy of its reputation.
Wow, that was spectacular timing. I hope to fight alongside my shield brother Aelmir in the coming engagement, but that may not come to pass. The marching order is not yet set, but when we come to Pelennor, he will likely ride with the king's men, and I will be among the Aerlingus. Still, the press of battle will no doubt allow us both much chance for glory. I'm certain you will attain no small share of it for yourself, friend Warden. Let me come around here up top.
I thought you would be somewhere in this assemblage.
My lands were well represented in the muster, and my heart soared to see the gladness in my king's eye for it. 300 valiant men from Sutcrofts awaiting his command. My son Folkred will weather the storm in Edoras with my mother. It was the vile Krugam that moved her to spirit Folkred away from Snowborn, but now I am glad that it was done. Lady Elwyn will keep them safe, and my wife Elflad has gone after them to wait until the war be done. For my part, I am hoping to see Krumgam in our path on the road to Gondor. He and I have unfinished matters to which we must attend. Insults were done to me and my house, and I would have them repaid. Repaid in blood. A little bit of blood vengeance there, okay. Alright, where am I headed now? That little quest ring right there. Is that up above? Yeah, let me come from above.
We have been through much.
Oh my god, there's a whole novel here for me to read. Chapter 1. Kippen. What adventures have brought you to join this assemblage? I have here but one Arid, but it is composed of the fiercest warriors in all of Rohan. I stake my honor upon it. We have been through much to come, so to this company. We received a call to the weapon take on the night of March 11th, and I began to gather what men I could. 2 Arids of Wildermoor's most skilled riders. At dawn, I led these men east to the wold, but I did not know that danger was so near. Under the cover of darkness, orcs and easterlings had crossed the river at the Undeeps. They overwhelmed the Watchers at Stangrad and crossed into the wold. The enemy assailed Harwick, but Aldor Harding had already gone to the weapon take. His son Lodwig remained in the city and saw that all would soon be lost. That is when my Arids charged right into the flank of the enemy. Our fortunes did not hold, and we were soon routed. The city was now afire. Lodwig rode forth and fought valiantly, but he was grievously wounded. We withdrew to a defensible position on the hilltop. It was to be the location of our last stand. Early in the morning of March 12th, as the enemy prepared to climb the hill and put an end to us, one of our scouts reported hearing a sighing sound on the wind. It was the rustling of branches, thousands of them, and a rush down from the Wildermoor in a great flood of sound. Behind this great sound came the trees, dozens of trees in every variety, and among them strode great shepherds. At first, I thought they were devils of Nurzum's kind, but it was not so. They were led by a strange fellow by the name of Leaflock, and he spoke in halting fashion of many unfathomable mysteries, some of which I still have not unraveled. There will be time for determining the meaning behind his words later if we survive the war ahead. He did not consider himself or his people warriors, but I can tell you that they had become terror on the battlefield. The enemy will not come back to the wold. There was only one Arid left to me after this battle. We rode with haste to the Entwade and changed horses. We passed Aldburg at dusk, but did not stop. Upon reaching Beacon Watch, we had to stop and rest, and learned there that Theoden camped in Furian Wood the night before. At dawn on the 13th, with our horses refreshed, we crossed the Mering Stream and rode hard through Beacon Hills. We were so close, but not yet close enough. We were beset by orcs and Variogs near Amon Din. We broke through the line of Variogs, and they did not pursue us. I think now I know the reason. They knew the road ahead would be held against us. In the darkness of night, we came to the western flank of the encampment in the Druidan, and were nearly turned into pincushions by Grimbold sentries. At the last moment, one of the archers recognized me by the specter of my beard, crimson in the glittering light of the single torch they allowed. Can you imagine what Senberg would have said if this great tale of mine, of riding more than 500 miles in 3 days to aid my king, ended with me and my men being put to the ground by our own sworn brothers? I can imagine what she would say, and would make my head hurt more than any of Nurzum's tantrums. That is the tale, Kippen. We have ridden hard, and through battle, to stand with Theoden King. Onward to triumph and glory! I have spoken already with Harding, and given him news of my son, but you should speak with him also. He is in the northeastern reaches of the encampment. What a tale he had to tell there. Oh, Nurzum. That was quite an epic season over at Wildermoor. Alright, let me finish up this part of the epic quest.
You have joined the ride as well, I see.
Should we get to Minas Tirith in time, there will be quite a battle. But it is not certain we will do so, for there is some trouble ahead in the road. You tell Harding that you spoke with Thrym about his journey from Wildermore. Then you must have heard how my son Lodwig led the defense of Harwick against the creeping orcs and Easterlings. My heart swelled to hear the Redbeards speak of my son's charge from the city. He will bear his wounds proudly, and if my own road is to end in the battles to come, I will know that the wold is in capable hands. I did not think my boy would have the ability to lead men in battle. Indeed, I sent him to investigate Wildermore in part because I thought he could not handle the dangers pressing from the east. But I am pleased to have been wrong. Sons have a way of growing up and becoming men, I suppose. Speak to Ingbert of Entwash Vale if you doubt me. He told me that his own son, Horn, has experienced a similar transformation. Ingbert's tents are to the west of here. Okay. So it's gonna be up above. I keep getting sidetracked. I'm trying to like clear these quests, but I keep getting more steps. So I can't come from that side. Let me try to come from the south here. Yeah, I can climb up through here, it looks like. Or not. Okay, I can come through here. Perfect.
My son Horn has come to his senses at last.
There's a familiar face, though it was long ago and many miles from here when last I saw it. Kippen the Warden, I am delighted to tell you that my son Horn has come to his senses at last. He has had a welcome change of heart and ridden with the company as he should. And most welcome of all, he has left his wild woman behind.
War is calling. Finally, my son will prove he is a man of Rohan.
Nay, it is true, my son has finally shown some sense, and he has chosen to leave the foolish loves of his youth behind him. He will do his duty as I, his father, command, and as his king requires. War is calling, and finally my son will prove he is a man of Rohan and worthy of my bloodline. Would that he had realized sooner. I might have been spared much frustration. You do not believe that Horn has so chosen? Ask him yourself, and you will see. Alright, so, oh, there's Horn. Had quite a long adventure with Horn, met him way back in the day. He also has written a novel for me. This accursed darkness has cast a pall upon my heart, Kippen, but it is brightened somewhat to see you again. Much has happened since we parted. Is Kurudon with you? Call him over and I will tell you my tale, for he should hear it as well. You tell Horn that you were separated from Kurudon before the forces of Saruman fell upon Helm's Deep, and were unable to find the elf after the fighting ended. Horn is silent for a time and then shakes his head. I'm sure he is fine wherever he has gone. I do not believe that he would fall prey to Saruman's evil so easily or so quietly. That there is no trace of him should lighten our worry, not increase it. It seems to your ear that Horn is trying to convince himself more than you, but you do not press the issue. He is silent again for a long moment. When he finally speaks, his voice is full of sorrow. Nona and I did not find the Falcon Clan raiding party, Kippen. Indeed, I think now that she did not really intend to search for Lou Brennan at all. Her plan was in service of a ruse. I blame her not for it now, but I confess that when the shape of her mind became clear, I spoke harshly. She wanted to get me alone and tell me to abandon Rohan. She wanted us to find a place where we might live free from the demands of kings and wizards. If the forces of evil triumph, let us face them together, not for kingdom or for bloodlines, but for ourselves, she said. But I would not listen. I was angry to be made to choose in this fashion. I told her that I did not always know what it meant to be a man of Rohan, but our adventures together taught me much of the matter, and I wanted to serve my king as I should. There were more words, and they were hurtful. I made to leave, and Nona told me that if I were to war with Theoden, I would die before the walls of the White City. How can you know this? I asked her. But before she answered, I knew the answer. Hildegard, the soothsayer, spoke to Nona of my death. Nona believed it, though I do not. That was not her final attack, Kippen. and this last strike was to be the most deadly, though it also proved decisive in the matter. Nona said to me that she was with child. Hildegard told her of this, but Nona did not need the words of that soothsayer to believe it. I believed it too. Horn sighs heavily, sorrow etched deeply upon his face. The air was still and cold, and the silence stretched between us. I was torn between two duties. Service to the woman of my heart and the child of our love would bring forth, and to Theoden, the king of my homeland. And that is when I realized that they were not different at all. If Rohan is consumed by war and falls to the enemy hordes, it will not matter where Nona and I and our child might prepare for our last stand. We will be alone, together but alone, and the enemy will have us. But if Theoden defies the forces of Mordor and finds victory, then there might be peace. Only then will there be safety for the woman I love and for the child of our love that is bringing forth. Only then, she thinks, I choose to ride for Theoden to seek glory, or for honor, but neither of those are the reason. I ride for Rohan, for my Dunlending wife, and for my Dunlending child, that they may be safe from the evils of Mordor. It was the most difficult decision I've ever had to make, Kippen, and it may have been the wrong one. But, still I have made it. It was the only thing I could have done, and if it is wrong and Hildegard is right, then I ride to my death in Gondor, far from those I love. Well, you have my permission to tell the old music master Gleowine that he was right after all. You look at Horn quizzically. Oh, Gleowine and I have been having some disagreement about what it means to fight. Do not tell him this, but I think I have been arguing mostly to convince myself rather than him. I have cut a most impressive figure doing so. I think the very picture of a valiant man of Rohan. I seem to have convinced my father at any rate. Find Gleowine if you would like to hear his side of the argument. It is good to see you, Kippen. I wish that we had met again in happier circumstances, but there are few enough of those in these dark days. Stay well, my friend. What an interesting development to his story. It sounds like he made the right but difficult decision, in my opinion. He is right. If evil is threatening your family, your peace, your home, it's not right to idly stand by and hope for the best when you have the means to participate against it.
I bid you welcome. Have you seen Horn?
My former student is a knot of confusions, and speaking with you might help him unravel them. You tell Gleowine that you found Horn in the state that he describes, but are unsure if your words provided him any comfort. I'm glad that you tried. I think he is being foolish, and have told him so, but he refuses to listen to me. He thinks he is doing the right thing, but I can tell you that Nona does not agree, and I do not either. What good will it do it to her and the child on its way if Horn dies now? Little or none, Kippen. Glory and honor, they will be of little consolation and no comfort to a family he leaves behind. I am no warrior. I record what befalls the warriors in song, and know all too well what that means. I dress it up in nice clothes and with pretty words, but still, I know it for what it is. Death, and death, and death. Horn is full of pride like his father Ingbert, and will not be persuaded. He is a man of Rohan for certain, stubborn and hard-headed, thinking always of duty and honor and service. May it not be the death of him. You think Gleowine may have been blinded to the truth of the matter by Horn's blustery words of justification, but you do not correct him. Elfhelm, standing nearby, catches your eye and your attention.
Duty is not always easy.
It is not always an easy thing to decide what duty compels us to do. I know of someone who might have something to add to this debate, Kippen. Look for him just to the west, if you can control your tongue and keep a confidence. Ah, it's Mary. Okay. I was like, who's that? It's Mary and Durnhelm, who of course we know to be somebody else. Hello there, Kippen. At last someone will speak to me. I have only had Durnhelm here for company, and he speaks very little. It is almost as if none of the men here can see me. I'm almost certainly not supposed to be here. I hope that Theoden will not be cross with me when he finds out. But what was I supposed to do? I could not stay behind while all the others have gone off to danger. That has been this Hobbit's story almost from the very beginning. Frodo and Sam and Pip all have gone off now, braving the danger in strange lands. I could not let it happen again. I am grateful that Durnhelm saw fit to help me along. He has an understanding with Elfhelm, I think. The old marshal is turning a blind eye to my presence here, and I am glad for it. I just hope that I am not too much of a burden, on the road or in battle. That is certain to come. Oh, these are all shoulder pads here. Let me just grab the agility ones for now. I'm sick of waiting around. Let us see if we can get a look at what Theoden is doing. I'll use my natural sneakiness to remain out of sight, but I cannot bear not knowing what is going on. The king is meeting with his advisors in a clearing to the southwest. It is not far. Okay, perfect. So that's kind of some repeat text. So here finally is Theoden's warstead. As you approach, you see that Theoden speaks with Gon Burigan.
These wild men have offered their aid to us.
My uncle has spoken with the leader of these Woses, these wild men, and has accepted their aid. Gon Burigan speaks of a secret way that will allow us to skirt the orcs blocking the road beneath Amon Din. He has staked his life upon it, for he will walk beside Theoden on this secret way. If he proves false, I am to kill him where he stands. If this is a trick, I will slay him without hesitation.
I thank you for sending to us these Woses, these wild men.
I understand. We have you to thank for sending us these Woses, these wild men, Kippen. Their hatred of the orcs is similar to our own, and quite useful in this case, for the orcs have made camp in the shadow of Amon Din and block our road. My 6,000 spears could scatter this orc barricade, but it would take time, and that time cannot be spared. Gon Burigan says there is fire on the plain before Minas Tirith and within the walls. The defenders will not last if we do not come soon. Gon Burigan says he knows a secret way around the orc camp. He says he can show us a forgotten road that will get us near to the city without delay. We must take this road.
Secret way is rocky. Your help clear.
Gon Burigan makes promise to you, Kippen. Now Gon fulfill it. Wild men will help horsemen. Stonehouse folk once very strong. Carved stones from hills. Carried stones on large wains. Built stone houses on side of mountain. Road still there, but Stonehouse folk forget. Wild men not forget. Horsemen pass through Stone Wain Valley. Entrance is northeast of Drew Buta, far south of here. Way is rocky. Clear stones from path to make safe for horsemen's passage. Then horsemen and Kippen fight Gorgoon in front of Great Stone City. Wild men live in peace. Okay.
Secret way is rocky. Your help clear.
Alright, very good. So it's just kind of repeating some text there. So now, trying to decide what to do. Let me head back to Tar Juradan. And I think there will be more quest rings around there for me. And I probably lost some here. Some of them fell off the tracker. So I got all those. Alright, very good. So everything is on the tracker. Perfect. Gotta clear some fallen stones here. There they go. You clear the path, making it safe for the horses to pass. Very cool. There they go. Alright, you know what? I think this is a good stopping point because I think all the quests now are kind of pulling me in a bunch of different directions, so it might get a little bit chaotic. So that's going to do it for this one. Thank you very much as always for watching. I do owe a lot of gratitude to you guys. Like I said a few episodes ago, the views on these videos are starting to climb up a little bit, and I have nobody to thank but you guys for it. So I appreciate everybody who watches, who comments, who subscribes, who leaves a like. It really helps a small channel like mine to grow. So thanks again, everybody, and I'll see you next time.
Thanks for stopping by the Renaissance Gaming Monastery. I hope you join our community on Discord and Twitter. These videos are produced with a lot of hard work and love. If you think they're worth $1, I'd be grateful for your contribution. You can send a thanks donation or become a member on YouTube. You can also support through PayPal, Patreon, or even with cryptocurrency. All links are in the description. See you on the next video.